This is Wade, and that is clickbait. Welcome. You are in Wade World. Girls are a waste of time and a distraction. And if you want to see more of where that thumbnail goes, check out Wade's Instagram. Link in the description. We're going to not just talk about girls today, we're going to talk about interesting stuff happening in the world as we always do. And the most interesting place to talk about it is, of course. Great. So before we start delving into the news, why are girls a distraction? This is not going to resonate with those of you who are weak men, low to men, but it's going to resonate with you if you live in a Jewed up country, like pretty much all the English speaking countries and the Western European have been sunken by bad food, vaccines, bad medicine, and lifestyle around you, and you're 18 and you don't feel the urge to approach beautiful women as they walk by, which is something that high testosterone men do. It's like a moral and biological imperative to reproduce, procreate, right? Although we don't think of it like that at that age. Why? Because they take the prime ears and prime attention of men who can actually make a difference in this world, chasing girls inherently low status. Now, there are a lot of people that have been blacklisted about this before this new short era. Blogs have been taken down, websites have been banned, books have been banned. Started with a bunch of nerdy guys who were very horny, trying to figure out how to get laid because most of the natural men are good with girls. Again, it's not the top men; it's just below the top. They're pretty shit at explaining why they're good because they lack the brains. So this started off as that journey, and that journey literally. You know why they fight so hard to educate men about the true nature of girls? It's because if you go down that path, at some point you're going to ask yourself, all right, if girls are so stupid, why are we giving them special status? Then you find out who is giving them special status, and then you get to the apex of the girly men, the Jews. Whether they're Khazars from the 9th century, or Sephardic, or Mizrahi, it doesn't really matter. This is a girly religion. They converted to Christianity and completely gave up sacrificing, burning alive little babies to Moloch. Be some people who would sacrifice babies and pick up these books. Idea, just like the Khazars did. So girls are a distraction. Take the best years of your life, and unless you're a very focused man, and unless you know the true nature of girls, you will end up wasting your life on an inferior human being who is not at the level of moral and mental purity, regardless of beauty, that you want. All of the girls that you see in the thumbnail, right? These are never girls that you wife up. Or in today's society, not even the ones you have children with, because many things have been hidden from us. And we're going to go into some of those details today, such as ancient civilizations. Now we are getting to know, 12,500 years later, we're getting to know, wow, we did have advanced civilizations that were wiped out in a flood or by mutual war. Right. And one of the things that these civilizations probably taught about was epigenetics. Epigenetics means that every man who has had sexual relations with a girl leaves some of his DNA in there. So if you're wifing up some of these sleuths that you see, these sluts that you see on the thumbnail, you're creating a bastard baby. Do you understand? Mixed with all the other guys. So that face that looks up to you, it's good. Okay, as a man, you have some morality, you love your children, but it's not your face, just your face. It's mixed with a bunch of other dudes. Dysgenics, right? Human beings are designed in a very interesting way that the girls are purely and purity locked to the man who takes them first. And if they get with a lot of men, you can see it in their body shapes, right? And their soul is destroyed, but their body is also just like, this is a slut. Just walking around, you can see it. right? The sluts can't have years, or and even as they age, you will see this trend. So anyway, men get distracted because there is a biological urge to procreate, and that has been turned into fornication, childless fornication. Now, the other thing that is very interesting is the negative blood types in the human species actively attack the birth mother if she's by a positive Rh positive blood group father. The body tries to kill the baby. That means that human beings have been genetically engineered at some point completely separate on a biological level. Now we have medicines to suppress this. We have medicines to basically subvert nature's good designs. But that's very interesting that you didn't know, did you, most of you? That a negative blood type mother attacks a positive blood type father's sperm. That means they're not supposed to mix. Take from that what you will. But going further on, we're going to discuss about why girls are a distraction and what they're distracting from. And the first subject today is a perfect example. This is a Jew. Let's. Do we really want to hear a Jew talk? Not really. Anyway, the ADL's Jonathan Greenblatt, let's do this a little bit, says most of violent extremism in the last 25 years have been perpetrated by right-wing extremists. You know what? He is right. However, those right-wing extremists are they attack their own synagogues and say, oh, look, a Nazi did it. They attack the World Trade Center and do false flag like, oh, look, the Muslims did it. In fact, the entire concept of terrorism was invented by Judaism, attacking civilians to instigate war. Make war is literally their motto of their Mossad. And this Jew is being corrected. Now, this is a bald Jew who is the leader of the ADL. This is the infection of the American government, that these are the people who train all the law enforcement agencies. However, short history lesson, the ADL was founded because Leo Frank, a Jew in the 19th century, raped and killed a 13-year-old Irish girl and tried to blame it on a black guy. Remember, false flag, oh, the Muslims did it, oh, white extremists did it. Now it's the Jews. Did you know what he did? He not only blamed the black guy working for him, he went to the KKK. And he said, yo, look, that black guy raped and killed this little 13-year-old Irish girl. And you know what the KKK said? Shut the fuck up, you lied, we don't believe you. So it turned out that it was him who raped and killed her over the dispute of not paying her salary. Wow, greed and sadism. So he was tried in court, found guilty, sentenced to death. But other Jews, well, doesn't matter, does it? Other Jews bribed the governor of his state, it could be correct, you can check it out, to pardon him. So the people saw that this Jew stole from, raped and killed a 13-year-old girl, tried to blame it on a black guy, and justice was not served on him. So they literally went to him, took him from his house and hung him, lynched him. The ADL, where this bald Jew is talking about, was founded like Anti-Defamation League to literally defend this raping, killing, sadistic fuck of a Jew. And these are the people who are training the FBI, the police, DHS on what is right and what is wrong. These are the defenders of a convicted, proven convicted rapist and killer of a child. Well, of a young girl, just very young. So today this that's not the whole way it happened. Shut the fuck up, man. We're waking up to your bullshit. We're waking up to the fact that most pornography, this slut culture, this culture of hooking up and fornicating and not procreating is literally pushed by your people. Throughout millennia, it's like you are not human, but your no concept of purity. Like your soul is repulsive and it's attracted to all things repulsive. OnlyFans is owned by a Jewish rabbi. Pornhub is owned by a Jewish rabbi as well. So if you even in the early 1920s, before there was a huge commission in Hollywood, like who started seeing moving pictures? It was Jews. So they immediately jumped to pornography. And they also broadcast pornography in Palestine when they attack it. So they know this has a demoralizing effect on men. It rewires their brain to go for fornication and waste their energy and their seed and procreation. And the younger you can get the guys, the easier, because as we're young, testosterone levels are sky high. If you're a normal guy, normal man, normal boy, definitely your brain shuts off, man. The frontal lobe shuts off during those times. You know, the high testosterone guys, naturally high testosterone guys, you know what WAYDE is talking about. You're just so full of energy. But there are no healthy ways to channel it that society tell you about. Like learn a skill, go outside. Literally go outside. You will feel better, enjoy nature, and that energy will be transmuted into something good. You know, instead of just sitting in a room and doing, oh, let me click on this Jewish website showing me naked sluts. Ruined girls, ruined men. So, anyway, a Jew up to his usual bullshit. What else is new? Let's move on. Pray for Israel. Bradley. Oh, see, now this is a good guy. This is a guy who was good height and nerdy, probably. Got on a bunch of steroids. That's why he wears the cap, because he's gone bald because of all the steroids he's taken. Got a huge body. And this is what's happening, right? Jews push even reasonable men who are not warriors, who are not conflict seeking people this stage. And this guy he's huge. He takes gear. He's huge because of gear. But you can just see that this is not a fighter. Like, this is a guy who you don't want to see fighting. And he doesn't want to fight. He just wants to work out, live his life, and have a peaceful life. But Jews make things so bad that even men like this, now they're talking like this. All right, let's see what he's saying. At this point, I don't even understand how people are still arguing left versus right. It's clear they decide the finger pointing nonsense. All right. America is captured clear. A lot of unnecessary typing. We have a Jewish problem. Dan Bilzerian is what happens when you get testosterone in your waist. Like, Dan was like, he'll accept it. Like, this dude is honest. Like, he's not the most aesthetic dude without gear. He got on gear, got that trust fund money, and he lived his life. But again, by experiencing the true nature of girls, he understood, like, oh, we've been fed a lot of bullshit in movies, and he get the girl. He was in a fraternity. You can check out his interview. He's great. So he went from banging sluts to being absolutely based about reality, especially the Jewish question. And that's literally to, like, are you naming a Jew, Bradley? If you're not, then you just wall of text, man. Just say it's the fucking Jews. Men here, right? But that's the difference between Bilzerian and Bradley Martin. Dan Bilzerian and Bradley Martin is that Dan Bilzerian, even though he's not as huge, he's not as tall as Bradley Martin, they have a good relationship. But this is an Armenian dude, right? And he is, if you push him to the corner, he will fight. He has that fighter warrior spirit a lot more than Bradley does. And both of them are good men. So he gets straight to the point. You can see he's sick of their bullshit as well. Anyway, Joe Kent, this is a fantastic letter. After much reflection, I have decided to resign from my position as director of the National Counterterrorism Center. I cannot. Iran pose no imminent threat to our nation. It is clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby. We're going to read this letter just because it's fantastic. And of course, Joe Kent is being attacked by all the clowns on the left and the right. You know, when they say, like, oh, you know, like, left-wing Jews are not like right-wing Jews. The left-wing Jews are calling him a Nazi and the right-wing Jews are calling him a lefty. Bullshit. All of the differences that the Jews say, oh, shut the fuck up, man. You guys are the most tribal motherfuckers on the planet. The most racist tribal motherfuckers on the planet. And you support each other. Like, maybe it's, if you don't support, if it's not coordination, right, it's genetic. It's just genetic. Like, you're not manly men. Manly men will be like, yeah, we did, so what? Fuck off. Right? But you're like, yeah, he's a liar. So this guy resigned from the Trump administration because he was like, yo, from the bombing of the King David Hotel in the 1940s to the USS Liberty, assassination of JFK, 9/11, and all these false flag attacks, even Charlie Kirk's assassination, Iranians were not involved in any of them. And if you say, oh, I'm Persian, are you Persian or Iranian, or are you a Jew who lives in Persia? Because there's a huge difference between Jews living in a country and those countries' people. That's what they say themselves. There are no American Jews, Russian Jews, English or French or German Jews. There are Jews in America, Russia, England, France, and Germany. They all say themselves, right? And he said, like, yo, Iran did not pose a threat to us, bro. We've been putting our bases next to them, all around them, because of these Jews in Israel who got all of you by the balls, who try to kill you, blackmail you, or whatever, and you lack the balls to say no to them. And you literally bombed them, killed 170 school children, girls, and their parents. So you're basically doing what the Jews are doing. And now you want European nations to fight because you don't want to lose face. You will turn into girly men if you let Jews control your society, because America right now is doing exactly what the Jews do from Israel's perspective. You know, girly strategies, a lot of blustering, blithering, blah, 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 threatening, looking like bitches. In fact, things have become so serious that the US Army itself is seeing people who refuse to follow orders. The Gerald Ford, the USS Gerald Ford, the aircraft carrier, they were like, oh, there was a laundry fire. Turns out it was a bunch of people, sailors, who had ammunitions. So they wouldn't have to be deployed to die for a bunch of Jews in Israel who literally hate them. Right? And because fighting for the fucking Jews, bro, I'm out. They're like, oh, he's a Nazi. Oh, he's a lefty Palestinian supporter. No, he's just an American patriot. After much reflection, I have decided to resign from a position, blah, blah, blah. Cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. Iran poses no imminent threat. It is clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby. Fantastic. He says, yo, you fucker promised in 2016, 2020, and 2024, no foreign laws. And then you fucked over everybody because you're a bitch who is controlled by Jews. Early in this administration, high-ranking Israeli officials and influential members of the American media, Jews, deployed a misinformation campaign that wholly undermined your America First platform. Or the misinformation campaign thing is a way for Trump to get up. This was a lie and is the same tactic the Israelis used to draw us into the disastrous Iraq war and the Afghanistan war. To combat 11 times, his wife was killed because of Jews. Cannot support sending the next generation off to fight and die in a war that serves no benefit to the American people, nor justifies the cost of American lives. He's asking, yo, I pray that you will reflect upon what we're doing in Iran. Like, yo, motherfucker, think about it, you piece of shit, you traitor. It was an honor to serve an administration that served a great name. It's definitely sad. Goy slob, Israel killed Iran's top security chief. Who cares, man? They killed Netanyahu. All right. By the way, Republicans announced plan to keep doing opposite of what everyone voted for them because they're controlled. Pleased to announce we're the #1 podcast. It's good for you. By the way, it seems Netanyahu is dead, and they keep churning out these AI videos, which are hideously bad. And if you want to see the difference between girly men and masculine men, Jews, when they kill the Ayatollah, they were like, oh, we killed him. Boastful instead of, yeah, we killed him. Because that sends a message, right? Whether you're boastful or you're not, killing somebody sends a message. Apparently, the Iranians did, with a very high probability of being true right now, kill Benjamin Netanyahu, the rabid Jew who helped assassinate the only Israeli prime minister ever assassinated. Not by Iranians, not by Palestinians, but by the Israeli Jews themselves. Because that guy was like, all right, we'll give the Palestinians the state. He was assassinated. And they told Netanyahu, he's like, yo, stop your rhetoric, he'll be killed. Netanyahu was like, nah. So this is like a particularly demented Khazarian Jew, right? And apparently he's dead, and the Israelis keep putting out AI videos of him, which are pretty fucking terrible. Yo, you girly bitches, we know he's probably dead. Just go come out for once in your life, have some fucking balls, and accept that he's dead. Move on. Move on. Literally, the only way you'll ever get respect in this world is if you turn into manly men, which you are genetically predisposed not to be. So come on, get those genes going, right? Come on into the future with the rest of humanity. Because Jews also like, oh, you know, the Egyptians and the Romans, and they're all gone, but we are still here. No, motherfuckers, you're not there. You just never moved ahead. All of these empires moved ahead, moved away from gods who wanted child and baby sacrifice and human sacrifice. They moved ahead and colonized entire continents and the world. You guys never left. You guys never moved ahead. It's not that you're here, you never moved forward. You're still stuck there with your backwards ass baby torturing and killing God, fighting over dumb shit, never finding your balls, being homosexuals, queers, and trannies, right? Pushing the shit and still hoping, like, oh, shut the fuck up, man. You know why you're ethnically so strong together? Because you're the only ones who are still practicing a bitch ass religion made of bitch ass men who don't have the balls to say to the God, like, yo, fuck you. If you're the kind of God that wants us to kill our own children, go fuck yourself. So, yeah, that's pretty much who you are. All right, Red Pill USA. Only Jews, oh man, this is just anything, like there's never something wonderful someone who calls himself a Jew has really given the world. Because if they do something wonderful, the first thing they do is like, yeah, I don't really want to be called Jew. Like Jesus and all the good Jews. Maybe Saul, Paul, but who knows, man. Even Christianity has weakened a lot of European nations and the world around it. Christianity is very dysgenic. Let's just be honest, because it just accepts everybody. All right, we're going to skip over the first line because it's stupid. It's the truth, though, because the Goyim are too afraid of being called anti-Semitic. They're frightened you into tolerating this barbaric. They're barbaric, exactly. Backwards-ass tradition. 2-week-old baby was hospitalized at Wolfton Medical Center with a severe herpes infection. There we go, man. There's people cry among the Jews who were killed. These will come symbol after deaths of children in Gaza yesterday. All right, let's see. Oh, the Muslims, they're like, the Muslims are so like, motherfuckers, look at this motherfucker. You guys have differences among the Germans and the Dutch who are like 99.99% similar. You think this guy has something similar to you? Just because he's called Sam, Larry, Barry? Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. This is who you're dealing with, man. They just hide it from you. Hilarious. Now we're getting to the point where people are saying Hitler was right. It's probably some Jew or some cocksucker talking about Jewish points. We're going to skip over that. Emiratis were caught in a private party dancing. They're all in this together because it's racial, man. It's racial. You know, that's the thing about browns, Orientals, you can say Orientals, equatorial people. They understand racism and race realities, whereas white people are like, oh, we don't see race. That's good. That's a good quality. But you know what? Race sees you. It's fine to say we judge people based on merit, but it shouldn't be color blindness. It should be like, we judge people by race and merit, so that if you're from a particular race, we know these are your not only intelligence proclivities, because genetics is not only about intelligence, it's about a whole lot of things like the ability to have a high trust versus low trust thinking and society, the ability to be honest versus dishonest, the ability to be violent versus less violent, right? So you can make both approaches unified and in harmony, but you have to first say, we're honest about the racial qualities. For example, Germans are great engineers. They're not very great at designing beautiful things, but they're great at designing technically beautiful things. They're not the greatest of leaders, but they are great engineers. So racially, Germans, when you encounter the average German, and we're talking racially German, not just some retard with a German passport, right? What you know about him, this German, number one, thinks logically, thinks reasonably, has attention to detail, probably will be very good at managerial tasks or detail-oriented tasks, honest, reliable, rule-following, to a fault. Now, if that German wants to immigrate to Italy, which is more like, some of you would say, why would he? But let's suppose he wanted to, which is more like, hey, Pangolo. Just start off with a bad term like, hey, ciao, bella. You know, a lot less structured, a lot more just, going with the flow. Then the Italians have to understand, like, all right, he might have merit, but he has all these other genetic qualities because of his race. So he has to show not only that he is meritorious enough to be included in our society, but that he can actually subsume some of his genetic qualities and match them to us. And the same way, the other way around, right? If the Italian is like, oh, I want to be in Germany, I'm a very intelligent, I want to be in Germany. Yeah, you might be very intelligent, but the Germans are like, yo, this is how we do things. We're very structured. Even if we have parties. Wade remembers the German girls inviting Wade to parties, and it's like, we will meet at like 9 o'clock at this station, then we will go to the bar, and we will be there for 1 hour, then we go to the other, and it's literally like, you could be at the bar, you could be having a great time, you met some other girls, and they'd be like, it's 10 o'clock, let's go. And we're like, what the fuck? I'm not going anywhere. But you said we will go at 10 o'clock. I'm like, bitch, I'm talking to some other bitches, shut fuck off. Anyway, there's positives also. They're great at planning itineraries. So if the Italian wanted to go to Germany, the Germans would be like, yeah, great that you have a higher IQ than even the average German and you're very meritocratic. But this is how we do things here, and genetically you're predisposed to breaking the rules. So you gotta show to us that you can actually fit. And this is just Germans and Italians, right? Alpine, Mediterranean. Genetic difference there, but not a lot. We're talking about Jews flooding in Africans, South Asians, South Americans, who are genetically ridiculously different. Like Africans have no concept genetically of structure, most of them. And the exceptional ones will understand this. This is a function of very low IQ, very high violent tendencies. This is just the truth. And Jews are flooding your country with this. But anyway, this whole dance shows that these people are much closer to race realism than colorblind Europeans who are like, oh, merits. Like, yeah, man, merits. That's fine. Merits. Yeah, it's all good. But don't forget the racial aspect of it, because you have to adjust to it. And there's only so much adjustment a society can make. Right now, you're at extinction levels of adjustment, adjusting your way to extinction, tolerating your way to suicide. Their obsession with being the victim needs to be studied. Jews being Palestinian, yeah, it is. It's.
They want our people dead. They want us killed.
Yeah, it's a Jew, all right. It's genetic. In fact, there are 28 to 32 genetic diseases that are only in Ashkenazi Jews because they are, remember, the Khazars who converted to Judaism, the most inbred people on earth. Highest level of mental illness, schizophrenia, homosexuality, transgenderism, all of this stuff. So genetics is not just about IQ. It's about a whole lot of other things. Like this is literally Jewish people have a tendency to play the victim even when they commit the atrocity. Like this is genetic. We're talking about just IQ is the beginning of the genetic question, but then you start seeing all these other qualities. And these are quantifiable, it's just that the studies will never be funded, they'll be killed. In fact, anybody who's talked about genetics and IQ who's been a scientist, they've been stripped of their prizes, or anti-Semite. Whether you're talking about Jews or not, they'll call you say, oh, you're anti-Semitic, and you'll be like, I was just talking about the IQ difference between blacks and whites. Where did you fucking Jews come from? Because they're the ones pushing this bullshit, right? So it's not just the IQ, then you start looking at a lot of other factors. High trust. honesty, attention to detail. What are the emotional and psychological, mental capabilities and tendencies of these groups? So Jews panic, they're paranoid, they blame their own victims for doing to them what the Jews do to them. This is genetic. It's like human beings, we are machines programmed with a bunch of features. And these features in this religion, and anybody that willingly wants to be in the religion, it attracts these kind of genetics to it. And with inbreeding, they amplify it, right? All right, Israelis terrorizing Palestinians because they have been lied by Christian Zionists. No, no, that's the other way around. Things that these people see, this is what happens in your nations, right? They don't only ruin your nation, they ruin humanity because they are scared of what competition can do. They hoard knowledge, they lie to you. And what's a very interesting rabbit hole to go down is the supposed Tartaria. So, Tartaria was supposedly a civilization that was completely wiped off the history books. Atlantis is like 12,500 years ago. Right, and think about it. We're finding out we had civilizations 50,000 years ago, 30,000 years ago, 12,000 years ago that were much more advanced than us. How much it would suck to be one of them, see the destruction of your people and say, fuck, man, we're going to be driving bullock carts for the next 12,000 fucking years back to the fucking jungle. What the fuck? Depressing as shit. And that's what Wade keeps saying. God. You know, we say gods. Maybe it was their word for them. God. God. They're like, oh, I'm God. Who are you? I'm a God. God kind. And they were like, oh, we are gods. You're like, oh, God must mean the creator of the universe. Nah, just advanced. But anyway, this knowledge is also being hidden from us and hoarded from us. Tartaria, as Wade was saying, there is a whole host of old buildings in America and in several other parts of the world, which was just taken over by us. And we've seen this from the Egyptians, right? They were like, oh, we built the pyramids. Really? They are water electrifying, seismic stabilizing, energy generation generators, structures. Build another one, and they couldn't. So it's like we do have a tendency to lie about it. And a lot of the buildings in the 18th and 19th century photographs that you see, it's like shacks and carts and horses, and then there's this grand building, the courthouse, the Capitol. So one theory says that it was Tartaria, an advanced civilization that was destroyed, and they built all these buildings because the level of detail and architecture required for them is quite insane. And it doesn't really make sense that you would build a grand courthouse in the middle of nowhere surrounded by shacks of villages. It's like if there was one skyscraper in New York and the rest were all like mud huts. It would make no sense. It would be like, what? This is retarded. When you have the technology, you build according to the technology. So where did the rest of it go? So anyway, we're going to go into this because this is fantastic. July 2011. Who cares about this? See, again, we got Jews obsessed with Atlantis. She was searching for the lost city off the coast of Cuba, got Fidel Castro. Of course they did. And this is a fact, actually. Dr. Stephen Gray has spoken about the disappearance of UFO Insider, Major General Neil McCaslin. I have no idea.
Has disappeared, and he was very involved for years with Wright-Patterson Air Force.
And that's another thing. Maybe Wade will do another video about it because we've gotten from the topic of girls are a distraction because they distract you from reality. That's the most important part, right? A lot of these people have started coming out and saying like, yo, the UFOs, man, they exist. Some of them are from advanced civilizations in the past. Some of them are from advanced civilizations, our descendants in the future. In fact, some UFOs warp time as they travel. They can reach Mars in hours. So if you have the technology to reach Mars in hours, you can definitely travel back in time, which is what they say. The aliens in Roswell, there were two sets. One was from 47,000 years in the future. He came back, he didn't give a fuck about us. He just wanted some genetic material because they had become corrupted. Maybe a Jewish future, right? The other one was from 52,000 years in the future, and he was like, yo, you guys are on the precipice of pretty fucked up shit. I'm here to warn you, don't do that. There's a good way to go ahead, and there's a bad way to go ahead. And anybody who blows the whistle gets disappeared, right? When generals are disappearing. Megalithic mysteries, that's concentric rings of water and land at specific intervals, a central island, a flat plain to the south, mountains to the north, facing the open zone. Rishat structure in Mauritania matches the geometry, the layout, and the geography. Here's the thing, right? Atlantis was a global diffusion. Its capital was not in Africa, sorry. This is what Wade, as already said, would also design a city as. It's just beautiful, it makes sense. And the Rishat structures, though all of these things, right? Remember that Jew Maxwell just made up bullshit names. She was talking about Atlantis being off the coast of Cuba. They actually found structures off the coast of Cuba, and then they just disappeared from the news. The same happened with this. It's like Göbekli Tepe, right? They found they're like, oh, we found a spot where the nomads and the agriculturists, they brought their cows to graze. So maybe, agriculture was 12,000 years old, not 7,000. Bullshit. Now, Wade understands it's probably not that they found that agriculture was older. That's like the soft intro to you. It's that they found advanced structures, not just fucking agriculture. We're talking about flying cars and 0-point energy from the environment around you, from all of creation, space, air, no air, planet, no air, no planet, right? But they found something so advanced that they had to bury it for 100 years. They're like, we're going to bury it for 100 years so archaeologists don't destroy it, which is a very stupid way of thinking. It has a little grain of truth that, yes, maybe we'll have even more advanced technologies in the future. But the technologies we have right now are good enough. We don't destroy things. So they shut down Göbekli Tepe. So what these people do is, these girly men, when you let girly men in charge, like Jews and people blackmailed by Jews, they get this knowledge, they get panicked because they are not the men capable of building it, and they freak out and they hide it and they hoard it. Because if you start telling people, remember they say, oh, whiteness is a construct, white people are so evil. Well, if it turns out Atlantis was built by white people 50,000 fucking years ago, guess what the fuck will happen? People will start saying, shut the fuck up, Jew. We've been here longer than you. Fuck you. We built all this shit, so go fuck yourself. And we're not going to listen to any of you. You understand? It's not just them, but all of the backward-ass civilizations and races of people, they would immediately be told to shut the fuck up and sit the fuck down or get fucked off the planet. Right? This is a fantastic rabbit hole to go down through. And we've been distracted, not just by these girly men who push these girls on us, away from the truth about the world, about reality, about war, about Jews, about our own history, about our own reality. Right? Because you're too busy banging that hot slut, right? Instead of thinking like, hey, let me think about where I'm living at. Wow, we have a really rich history. As Wade says, there have been reports of aliens saying human beings have been genetically modified 65 times. Wade believes it because 100% in Sumerian myths, it becomes quite obvious human beings were created to live extremely long, were extremely tough, wouldn't get sick. We're talking hundreds of thousands of years. Beings were made as workers. And it's only when human beings became too numerous 3 times, and they were tried to kill in recent history 3 times, that they were gimped. We were gimped. From hundreds of thousands of years, less than 100 years lifespan. Illness. The genetics for promoting and creating our own vitamin C turned off in human beings, not in other animals, except for the bonobo monkeys maybe. We get injured, we get sick, we're much more fragile, we have much more pain during childbirth. This is literally said even in the religious texts. So we have been fucked with genetically. And this has also led to this thing, right? If you live for hundreds of thousands of years, you have a very solid, cohesive, and joint progress because all of the knowledge of your ancestors and you combine. But if you gimp human beings, right, this is what happens. We get geniuses once in a couple of centuries who advance the whole of humanity forward by millennia. But it's scattered, it's diffused. Definitely a genetic experiment. In Critias, Plato gives specific measurements to the capital of Atlantis. That's the thing, right? They're like, oh, it was just made up. Well, it sure does match up with a lot of stuff we're seeing that they're trying to hush up. If Punt was the ancient Egyptian name for Atlantis, then I know exactly where it is, where they travel to the Red Sea. Robert Shapiro, hey, he's in 20 minutes to slander me, and he looks like a freaking idiot. This has been addressed many times before, hear me out. The true size was suddenly lost in translation, and moreover, the described size is Atlantis is a 20-year-old story and passed down. Described size would consist largely of water, yet Atlantis described as being busy all day and all night with languages spoken from all over. Richard's structure is virtually the same exact size of modern day Paris and Cairo's metropolitan area. So this would be a very, very advanced civilization, right? Which was destroyed. Maybe it was destroyed by fuckers who were the precursors to the Jew or aligned to them. Who knows? As Ved and as Wade says, girls are a distraction. If you're a man, girls have no interest in this, by the way, unless you have an interest in this. Then they will have an interest in this because they have an interest in you. So, stop being distracted by girls. Start paying attention to the girly Jews behind them. And start paying attention to the world you're living in. Because you're not just 2,000 years old, 4,000, 5,000 years old, and Jews are like, oh, we've been here for 6,000 years. Maybe that's why they say they've been here for 6,000 years and the world was started 6,000 years ago, because that was when Judaism was started by one of these fucked up gods who once being tortured and burnt alive as a sacrifice to him, right? Because if you start paying attention and realize, like, wow, my ancestors were hundreds of thousands of year old civilizations, maybe millions of year old civilizations. They have found industrial metals that are in Earth that would be 125 million years ago. So just imagine the change in mindset that gives you that, wow, I am descended from million-year-old civilizations, millions of years old. Who the fuck are these fucking flies and gnats? 6,000 years ago, the earth was started. Go fuck yourself. Liars. Go fuck yourself. And everything that comes from them is, again, a lie. If you really want to prove it, it won't just say time started when I was born because I'm the Messiah. No, you'd say, like, I am a voice of the Creator. Just a voice. And here is all of the history, and now I'm a part of this history at this point in time. If you were fucking selfish and deluded and anti-truth and beauty and human, you'd be like, oh, time started when I was born. No. No. So, girls are a distraction. Get your mind straight. Research all these things. And until next time, as Wade always says, keep it cool. Keep it smart. And as always, enjoy.